Tiger fans, welcome to episode 273 of the official Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast, bringing you all the latest news, updates, and buzz surrounding your mighty JSU Tigers. I am the Corey C. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast to be notified of all future episodes. Apple Podcasts and Spotify video users, rate and review the show. And everyone, go follow Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club on Facebook and Tiger Talk 1400 on Instagram and Twitter. It all helps the cause, which is the I love Jackson State University. And hosting today's show is Ken Clark.
All right, man. Welcome back to Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. You know who it is. It's your main man, Ken Clark. We got Zoe Phillips. Zoe DeLorean on the show with us today. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Superman Ken Clark? What it do, the I Love family?
Yeah, Tiger Nation. We got a special one today, man. We had to put in a special request to get this person on the show. You know, this is, you know, we say GOAT talk. We got the three-time, not one, not two, but three-time regular season SWAC champion, head basketball coach, two-time tournament SWAC champion, head women's basketball coach. We got none other than Coach Tomekia Reed joining Tiger Talk today. Coach Reed, what's up? What's going on?
How are y'all?
What's going on?
Man, we're great. First of all, thank you for coming on Tiger Talk with 1400 Club. I know you're not a stranger to the show, but I know you're getting ready to get your season kicked off, and we definitely appreciate you taking a little bit of time out to come. But we wanted to make sure we bring you to our loyal listeners and subscribers that tune in to us, and they wanted to hear from you. They wanted to hear you talk about, you know, yourself, your team, kind of what the expectations, a little bit about last season, a whole lot of good stuff that we hope to get into today. But none other than just thank you, Coach. I appreciate you and for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Thank y'all for having me. Thank you for inviting me on. I look forward to this every year because when I talk to y'all, you get me excited for the season. You know, we don't have a chance to talk too much about our players early on because everybody's just, you know, waiting, anticipating. And so you give me a chance to kind of talk about what we have and what we've been doing so far. So thank you.
Absolutely. So I know you guys just had SWAC Media Day. Great interview, by the way. But what we want to do is we'll let you kind of take the same format. However you want to get started, we got some questions. We got some things we want to touch on, but definitely wanted to give you the mic to let you kind of open up and move however you choose.
Awesome. Well, I'm just really excited, y'all. We had a really good summer workout this summer with our players. We brought everybody in for summer school, and we didn't do a whole lot with basketball. It was just really important for us to gel and bring that chemistry. And then once we got to August, we've been having some really good workouts for the team. Obviously, the water situation kind of hindered our workouts a lot. We were told that we couldn't do anything, but that was okay because, you know, getting through that moment, getting through that time was more important than anything. And I think that time brought us closer together. It's now a part of our story, and this is just a part of the challenge and where we're trying to get to. I'm extremely excited in the players that we have returning in, you know, Keshana Luckett, Jaria Covington, you know, Tilly Bowler has been doing really good for us. Deja Woodard, I'm excited about her. You know, our freshmen that we're bringing back that are now sophomores have grown tremendously. So I'm really excited about our core. You know, we lost a lot in Amisha Williams Holiday. We lost a lot in losing Rogan. But, you know, like I told the team, we're not trying to duplicate or imitate those players. You know, we want you to be great in your own right and bring to the team what you bring to the team. And as a coach, I'm going to put you in a position to be successful. I'm excited about my staff and the recruiting class that we were able to bring in and, you know, being able to fill those voids in some of those areas that we'll be lacking with losing two dynamic players. But we've been working extremely hard. We've been putting in our system. We've already put in about 15 plays. We got 215 plays put in. But nevertheless, this has to be one of the most talented teams I've ever coached as a coach in my entire coaching career as an assistant and head coach. Just putting it together is our challenge right now.
Well, look, I was going to ask you, since you mentioned about you guys putting in the 15th place so far, I was going to ask you, with this team, since you have a veteran team coming back, knowing that you've had the success that you had, do you project to have any type of upcoming offensive or defensive strategy? Like, do you plan on changing any of your schemes, or are you pretty much going to stay pat as you have been in the past?
Well, the only thing that we may change is our play calls. I hadn't done that in years, and so we may change our play calls, but I recruit players to fit my system. I recruit players to fit who I am. I recruit players to fit what I want to do defensively and offensively. And I'm just excited that now we have players that are in that fit my system, that are at that caliber talent where we can go and be competitive and win some of those big games. So we won't change a whole lot. These, my vision and what I've saw for this team, even when we didn't have the players, I was still putting in my vision and my system. Now we truly have those players, back to the basket post players, true back to the basket post players, and Daphne White, a stretch 4 player who's 6'5", 6'6", who can handle the ball like a guard, and Angel Jackson, who can shoot the outside shot, who can play with her back to the basket. She is a true McDonald All-American Jordan Brand player. I mean, she show you every day who she is. And having big guards, 6'1", 6'2", and Maya Crump and Liz Martino, those players fit my system.
Yeah, so that's important. I mean, when you look at the recruiting class, my next question really was going to be centered around building on what the success you had last season and kind of where you went from there. So do you feel like this team, if you can kind of expand a little bit more, because I mean, when we go back and watch the 2022, 2021, 2022 women's basketball team, we know it, like you said, it was heavy on Amisha Williams-Holiday, heavy on Deja Rogan. So speak a little bit more about the identity of this team and kind of how you are going to expand and not just lean more on those two players. And you can mention whichever players may fit. I know you mentioned Daphne, because that was a question mark I had. I remember seeing her come, but I was like, where'd she go? Is she with the program? It was always like kind of question mark. So when we watched the SWAC Media Day and you kind of expanded a little bit on that, I'm like, oh man, this is even better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can kind of give a little bit more meat on kind of direction, I would say roster makeup in the direction of how you want to go away from the two players that you just touched on.
Well, last year, we had a challenge as well. And the challenge last year was to get everybody to buy into their role. Although you can bring more to the table, in order for this to work, I need you to buy in the specifics of your role. So when I say that, I mean this in terms of Amisha Williams and Deja Rogan. You had two players that had led us, who were player of the year, defensive player of the year. And you had a Maya Crump, you had a Keishana Luckett, you had a Tilly Bowler, who had to come down some and shrink their role so that those two can continue to stay, where we needed them to be. And not shrink their roles to where they weren't important, but to shrink their roles to where it all fit. Okay. Right. So now what you're looking at, Amisha Williams averaging 17 points a game, Deja Rogan averaging 14, and Amaya Crump averaging 8 or 10. She was feeding Amisha. She was feeding Rogan when she could have been scoring the whole time. So now the tables have flipped. We don't have the Amisha and Rogan's points. So now you have players whose roles were, compressed a little bit. Now you can expand those roles. Now you're talking about more playing time, which is going to give more efficiency, which is going to bring more points and more rebounds. And so I'm really excited about that, to see us make that type of transition. You got Daphne White on the inside, who is a walking double-double in junior college. She's she was an outstanding player when she played, for Mississippi State and played for University of Houston. And today she's a totally different player than she was at those two institutions. She's so much better, so much more confident. And so I'm excited about our inside post game. On the inside, You'll have Daphne White. You'll have Angel Jackson, Deja Woodard, LaMiracle Sims, who's a little bit smaller in stature, but she's tough. She's
tough. Yes.
Yeah, she's a bulldog. She's got a big heart, tough heart. You know, she's mean around that basket. And then you also have a freshman that we don't talk about, Layla Walker. She's phenomenal. She's every bit of 6'5", and she don't bow down to anybody around that block in practice. And so we've never had a freshman of the year. And so it's going to be up to her, Haley Breland, and Shalimar Sanders to see who's going to bring in that freshman of the year for us. But from our guard perspective, man, I mean, you know, Keishana Luckett, who's a vet, Jaria Covington, who helped lead us to 3 championships as well. Yeah. And then you have Tilly Bowler, who has grown. Tilly may be 6'1", 6'2" now. And I mean, she has been unstoppable in practice. And so I didn't talk a whole lot about her in the SWAC Media Day because I wanted to leave something to the, you know, I wanted some secret weapons. I ain't want you to prepare it for everybody. But, you know, I know all my players is going to listen to you guys. So I got to make sure I get them all props because as soon as you post, they're going to be resharing it.
Hey, I didn't mean to cut you off, but tell them we coming for them now. We coming for them. We got some names listed, and we definitely gonna do our part. And I didn't mean to cut you off. We definitely gonna do our part to do more coverage of our women's basketball team, and so our listeners and those that follow Tiger Talk get to know the personality. You got some, I would say, some very, very bright personalities on your team. If you follow their social media, I mean, oh my goodness, and the list goes on, and I've definitely followed a lot of them, and I mean, just great content, great personalities. And I'm like, man, this team looks like they fun. They tight. They have a good time. They look good. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot into that. But I didn't mean to, you know, cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're okay. We do have a very charismatic team, but and they love to TikTok and dance. But Elizabeth Martino, she has just come alive. You know, she is looking really good. She's another big guard, another confident guard. A top guard in her state, coming out of high school, playing at Rutgers, getting that confidence and experience on the floor. She just brings that confidence to our level. And that's what you have to have. You have to have players who are not afraid to suit up against anybody. And that's what our transfers bring to the table. In that regard. So I'm extremely excited. Maya Crump is working hard. You know, she hadn't really been on the floor a whole lot with a little nagging ankle injury. But, you know, what people don't understand is Maya played her best basketball when she coming off injuries. Against LSU, she was out the entire week, did not practice, but showed up at LSU and had 20 points. So, you know, she had a concussion. She had a concussion that she had gotten in the SWAC, I want to say semifinals. And so, you know, that was a struggle for her. So I'm not worried about the time she's missing because she's going hard in her rehab. I just want her to completely fulfill her rehab so she can come back strong for the program. But, you know, I think that we have a lot of depth to the team, which is what we need to be able to compete outside the conference.
Well, Coach, I got to tell you, with all this great recruiting, this star power, and this influx of youthful talent, you almost sound like you got a Coach Pryor problem. It sounds like practice is going to be the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We told the players Friday at official practice, you know, I'm comfortable with starting any of you because all of you are just that good. But if you want to be in my starting lineup, show me in practice. So when I said that, oh my goodness, they're competing. I mean, they're going nose to nose, head to head. I mean, talking noise. I mean, practice is so exciting. And so I told them we're going to keep finding our starters until we get to our first scrimmage, which is October the 29th versus Stephen F. Austin. You know, and we want to find us a 5. That's a 19 practice days. We have 19 days before we scrimmage Stephen F. Austin. So it's a good problem to have.
Now that game against Stephen F. Austin, that's going to be at the AAC, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's so for those that'll be tuned in, great week. I mean, you're looking at. I mentioned this to Coach Mo. I think he said the same thing. They're going to be scrimmaging Tuskegee on the men's team. What's important for our JSU Tiger supporters and fans, we got to pack the AAC out. We got the best program in all of. Jackson is a basketball city. We all from Jackson, you know. Merle, we got somebody on thing. That's from Callaway. We ain't worry about that, but you know what I mean. But nevertheless, my point is, homecoming October 22nd with football. A lot of our fans are talking about staying home. Those of us that don't live in the city anymore to get to that Southern game. So it's a great idea. We want everybody in the AAC for both of those games. You know. So, but I kind of want to segue into something that you did touch on. You had a chance to go into the NCAA women's basketball tournament. Great showing. I'm watching it. I was in the middle of doing something. I'm watching it from a phone. I had to just pull over to the side of the road and just watch it. And I was losing my mind. When we went up by 10, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to do it. We're about to do it. And we know how it eventually ended. And the infamous quote that you gave at the press conference, I want you to talk about that. Talk about we got to continue to do what? Tear those walls down. And
right.
If you can just kind of speak to your mindset and what you went through, how the team dealt with it and what it did for you from a coaching standpoint. You don't have to tell us what Mark said, when she whispered in your ear, all that good stuff, but we want to talk about what you spoke on in the post conference after that tournament loss.
Well, in the locker room, our players were in tears. I mean, their heads were down. As a coach, it was just a really tough feeling to go in and experience, that. And I just asked the Lord to give me the words to heal, to build, and to give us something to help restore, because I don't really care. At the end of the day, the NCAA tournament does not identify who we are. The NCAA tournament is another outlet to go and to do great things, but it does not identify who we are. It does not diminish that we were SWAC champions. It does not take away that. And so I want our players to walk out with their heads high. And so they were saying we were cheated. They were so upset. And I said, you know what? At the end of the day, we're not going to walk out here and say we were cheated. We're going to walk out here and say factors played into what just happened. You have to understand we made mistakes. You have to understand we missed valuable shots. We missed free throws. We drew up a perfect play at the end and we missed. You have to understand that. We missed assignments. You have to understand that. The rest that happened in that game, people saw it. You don't have to talk about it. Everybody saw it. So what you have to come back and do is demand respect. Knock the walls down. You were knocking this year. You were knocking. Now it's time to come back and knock it down.
Yep.
We're going to put pieces around you to be successful. We're going to do all we have to do to get you prepared. You know what it's like. You know what it feels like. Now you got to come knock it down. You got to be undeniable. You got to be unstoppable. You cannot let anybody, you cannot leave any room for any error for anybody to determine the outcome of a game. You got to be in total control. And so that was my message to my players. And they understood it. They understand the assignment. They understand the vision. They understand what we are supposed to do this year. And every day in practice, when we don't call fouls, they pout and they get upset. And I tell them, you're not going to get that foul in preseason. I do think on another level, I will say this, that we have garnished more respect from our peers, from other coaches, and from officials. I believe that when we step on the floor to compete this year, we're going to get some respect and some calls. I do believe that. We just got to come and play hard and not expect it. Because if it doesn't happen, it's okay. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for equality. We're fighting for respect. We're fighting for even playing grounds. We're fighting for fairness. It's a new day, a new time. If anybody can do it for an HBCU community, it is us at Jackson State Women's Basketball. So that's my message to my players, and that's what we want to carry out as we go into the preseason.
I got to tell you, even in your answer right now, after that game, you're always coaching. Your answer even then was coaching. You know what I mean? And even going after the season, going to the off season, because we watch you. We're bullish on this team and we're bullish on you. So even every interview after the season was over, you're coaching. I don't think people really realize that. So to add on to that, how you mentioned with HBCUs and the circle that we're in, how we have to knock down those walls. Well, the thing is, which elaborates to your success, is you're always coaching, not on the hardwood, not on the floor, but after the game is over, in the off season, even now, we're asking you a question right now. You're answering what happened, but even in your answer just then, it's almost like you're talking to your team right now and you're coaching. So it actually speaks to why you have the success that you have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's important. And I tell my coaches, don't turn this thing off. We it's not even about us at this point. I came back to Jackson State. I was offered a job that was paying me triple my salary.
Wow.
It ain't about that. My coaches were going to be making six figures, all three, at the job that was offered. It's not about that. It's bigger than that at this point. It's bigger than that. I have never done this for money. If you ask me, I have never made what I was worth, but I ain't never done it for money, so it doesn't matter. It's bigger than that. And now it's the time to get it done. I tell my players all the time, you got to trust the process. You got to trust the process. You know, it's not going to be easy, but you have to trust it. Not always, like you said, I keep this coaching hat on. I'm telling you, you have to.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I think I speak for everybody when I say we happy that you decided to stay. I think when you say it is big. And you know, this Tiger Talk, we ain't sugarcoat nothing. We like it raw and we like it real, just like that. And I just wanted to say thank you. That was my way of saying we appreciate you, Coach, for real.
Absolutely. Now, and I feel that. I feel the love. I feel, you know, just man, everything I ever hoped for has been happening. You know, to receive that love in the state, in our city. You know, I see it, I feel it, my players see it and feel it, you know, and giving us this platform to talk and share and to, you know, ask people to continue to support us. You know, if it's buying fruit to fill our refrigerator, that we're trying to get a nutrition room for our players. If, you know, we can get one person to say, I'll keep your refrigerator stocked with fruit and Gatorade for this month. That's huge. You know, that's what it's about. It's about taking small steps. We're going to eventually get there, but we're going to do it together. And I want you guys to know, I want our Tiger family to know I'm locked in with you. I'm locked in. People can say whatever they want to say. I'm locked in. And we're going to get this thing done and continue to work together and have fun doing it.
Well, I'll say this, and I mean, stepping on your foot, though. I just think that was a summoning from Coach Tomekia Reed, letting us know that whatever she needs, whatever the program needs, Tiger Nation, we're going to make sure she got that. We're going to make sure they got that. It ain't just I know we put a lot of energy. It's still football season. I know we put a lot of energy behind football, but we got the best women's basketball program in the nation, right in 1400 JR Lynch, right in Jackson, Mississippi. And we gotta take care of our own. So I appreciate you for saying that. We're gonna move into a couple other things I definitely want to touch on. One of those things being, for the second year in a row, you got I want to say FBS, but I want to say a Power 5 program that's going to be coming to Jackson to play us in the AAC. I know we had a couple seasons ago was Coach Vic Safer when he was at Mississippi State. He's now at UT, and I know you have a great relationship with him. I mean, speak to us about your relationship with him, because I know when we went to Austin last year to play at UT, he kind of came over and had some words for the team, and now it looks like he's paying it forward and bringing the UT. And we know how the UT women's basketball program is. To bring them to Jackson is monumental. So if you can kind of speak to that and what you would expect from us as a base, go ahead and put that out there for us.
Yeah, Coach Vic Schaefer, I have a lot of respect for him. When he first took the job at Mississippi State, I was coaching at Southern Miss, and I can remember telling the coaching staff at Southern Miss, this guy is about to turn this program around. And I think within a year or 2 years, he had taken Mississippi State to the national tournament. And so I have a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of respect for how he did it, the work he put in to get to where he is. And he's one of the few coaches who, when I didn't have a name, he still respected me. Before I was even a head coach, he respected me as an assistant coach. We had a relationship. We talked all the time. It was a point where I was almost hired on his staff because I had one of the biggest players in the state of Mississippi. I was recruiting her, and she said, Coach, if you go to Mississippi State, I'm going with you. So we have that relationship with each other that goes way back to when I was an assistant coach. And I'm just thankful that when I became a head coach, he understands what it takes to continue to take our level to another level, and to bring Power Fives on our campus and in our gym. It says a lot. It speaks volumes about who he is, and his program. When we played them at Texas last year, he said, "Oh my God, coach," he said, "man, y'all are good." He said, I don't know if I want to come to Mississippi now behind that. He said, he looked at me, he shook my hand. He said, "But I'm going to honor my word." And I'm thankful that he kept his word to come over to play us. And I think it's going to be a great experience for our fans, our team, our students, the ones who will be on campus. I think it'll be a great experience. The only challenge that we have is that it's a December 14th game. School will be out at Jackson State. So we are asking everybody, all of our fans, if you could take off to come in and fill the stands. They help us and cheer us on versus a good Texas team. This is a national ranked team. They will be nationally ranked when the polls come out. This is a team who went deep in the tournament last year. And so, we have a chance to be extremely competitive in this game, but we need support. We need fans in the stands. We are trying to make this a day game because our men team plays that night at 5:30 versus Mississippi State. So we're trying to make this a day game where around 11 to 12 o'clock, so we can bring in students and make it a student day to bring in local JPS students, me being a product of JPS, Terry, the local, schools. So we're talking to the superintendents to bring them in, so we can get them get the gym full with students. They all have JSU pom-poms, and get our fans in. I think it'll be a great showing, but we really need everybody's support December 14th.
I'll tell you what, speaking of the Texas game last year, knowing that, we battled and we lost, 78-64, but I always mentioned the game against Arkansas, a game that we really, really should have won, that we had in the bag, that Misha really outplayed their best player, and we lost by 4 points going down the stretch. And I wanted to mention that because when you look at the year prior to last season, segueing into last year, the thing that I see more than anything, even with the success, is the growth from year to year. And even with the game at LSU, and it was like we went up another plateau, segueing into this year, knowing that we've lost Amisha, knowing that we've lost Deja Rogan, but yet there is no panic because, again, of the recruiting that you've done. It speaks to the consistency, also the perception of the women's basketball program. So now it almost feels like I hate to even use this, I almost feel like a Gonzaga feel. And I use it all the time because they're a great mid-major. But it feels like we're segueing now to take another jump to go up to another plateau. And it also speaks to Texas coming in on campus because I know right now you have a 67% winning percentage, but guess what? What ties into that is the fact that you've had great success, but Texas coming, I know people like to look at money games, but I don't look at it that way in basketball. It's a great opportunity because I know people automatically think that we'll possibly lose, but it's basketball, it's a one-off. What if we win that game? You know what I'm saying? And you're talking about non-conference game, ranked opponent, and we have the goods in-house to win that game. And so, we don't worry about at Jackson State, like most say, we're Jackson State. We're Division I. We're not an FCS. There is no barrier. There is no separation. And we've shown that multiple times against Power 5 schools. It wasn't just LSU. Like I stated, it was Texas. It was Arkansas. It was LSU. And we were competitive and had a chance to win all 3 games. So now you have that opportunity on campus now, not in Baton Rouge, and we possibly win that game. And if we do, that goes to what you mentioned earlier. That's another door knocked down, another wall to knock down, I should say. And then we mosey on through the non-conference season. So I just feel the growth, and we're still evolving and growing even more into the season.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't think that we could evolve or grow anymore. I thought we had reached the ceiling. And when I saw this team come in, I was like, whoa, we are still growing. We are still getting better. There is still so much more to do. And it's just been unbelievable. I'm just so thankful in these opportunities and where we can go from here.
One other thing I will add in relation to that game, I'm gonna mention to you the same thing I mentioned to Mo, because this was something that was talked about in our 1400 Club chat, and I always tie it together because it's all relevant. football team is having a lot of success. The expectation for the football team is to get back to the Celebration Bowl. Now, I know we got to win the SWAC. We got to get to Atlanta. That weekend, that Celebration Bowl weekend, that's that Saturday. A lot of people are saying, hey, SWAC championship is going to be 2 weeks prior. We get to the Celebration Bowl. Many of our fans are talking about actually coming to Jackson that Wednesday and making sure that we're there for that game and then go and travel on to Atlanta. So it's just kind of a extra thing. What the expectation, we're already looking down the road. And you know, for me not being both myself or not in Jackson anymore, I'm already looking at the schedule trying to figure out which games I'm going to. Because, you know, I was fortunate out here in Cali to catch Cal Baptist playing against the men's team last season. I'm definitely looking into the women's schedule, and I wanted to kind of segue into my next point to get you to talk about the WNIT preseason. I know you guys are going to kick off, was it November the 12th? I think your first game is against Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. If you can kind of talk to us a little bit about, you know, that. I know you got the scrimmage coming up October 29th, but I wanted to kind of speak to the WNIT, kind of how that come about, what's your expectations and projection when it comes to that, and where the game is going to actually be played.
Well, we were invited. We were invited by the WNIT staff and administrators to participate in this event. And that's when I first took the job at Jackson State. I always wanted to be in the WNIT preseason game, and I was like, "How do we get into this?" And you know, now we have an opportunity, and I'm excited. You know, going to Colorado is going to be a challenge, you know, with the altitude. And so, what we're doing with our players. You know, we're looking to purchase masks. If anybody would love to help donate some masks to our players, some of those altitude masks, we would like to wear those a week before we go to Colorado, to help our players be able to play and practice in those, to see what it's going to be like to have that challenge. And, you know, so that's going to be our challenge. I think Colorado has a really good team. They are obviously an NCAA team as well. They had postseason play, so they're going to be really good. And then we leave Colorado traveling to Texas Tech, where we will play Texas Tech, and then the very next day we'll play UL Lafayette. I like those back-to-back games. I like to get those at least on our schedule once, because it gives us a feel of what we should expect in the SWAC tournament. And so, you know, so I'm excited about those two games and being at Texas Tech, and you know, and being able to play UL Lafayette on an even court, you know, not theirs, not ours. And I'm just excited. I think this is a great tournament, a good tournament that's going to get us prepared for the season. And so obviously we're going to go in and give our best effort, and it will be a dream come true to come out WNIT champions, preseason champions. So
that's the goal.
Yeah.
Because we definitely, like I said, we're serious about supporting in any way possible. If we got some amazing ideas coming down the pipe with Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. Myself and Zoe, we on YouTube doing live streams and just talking to a lot of our fans, trying to get the engagement up. If we got a crowd surf, we will. We're gonna make sure we'll go to the 1400 Club crew, and whatever we got to do, we'll figure out. Get us some numbers and exactly what you need, and we'll do our part to put it out there. Biggest thing about needing something and closing the gaps on needs and well, I would say what you have and what you need is really just communicating it to the right people. Most people don't know. Some people, I think we have a really engaged fan base right now that's willing to do more. And a lot of times they ask questions, how can I donate? I think the easiest way for those that are tuned into is to go to JSU, go to the link to donate and select the women's basketball program. That's the first thing you do. But we'll get with you, and you let us know by when, and we'll get some costs, and we'll line it up, see how many you need, and put a total to it, and we'll go make it happen. Awesome. You got that from us, man. You know, that's the least we can do. At least, you know, put it out there and make it happen for you. And I know we have I told, like I said, I hate to keep mentioning, but we're in the basketball season. We got the best AD in the game now. You know, he gonna make sure we got everything we need. Shout out to AD Robinson. You know, shout out to President Hudson. You know, I love the direction of the university, but I'll probably get slapped upside the head if I don't mention this. How does it feel to have Zoe might not want to listen to this. He might feel some type of.
I already know where it's going to go.
How does it feel to be surrounded by all those Merle Mustangs? You got the AD coming out of Merle, you coming out of Merle. Now you got Mo, over there from Merle. Hey, how does that feel? Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know we got some Merle Mustangs that's a part of the family, and we wanted to see how you feel about that. I know, and shout out to Coach Anna Jackson. Love Coach Jackson. I always will. I know she's super duper duper proud of you and all that you've done. But just if you can speak to that before we get ready to get out of here.
Coach Jackson is a GOAT. We talk all the time, and I'm so thankful for her and her leadership and her instilling so much in me to have me where I am right now. And when I took the job at Jackson State, AD Robinson was not hired. It was Thomas Hudson was the acting president, and so the acting athletic director, and so when I got hired, I was like, okay, I don't know who the AD is, but I'm in with the president. I'm in with, the interim AD. I'm good. And I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I started hearing about AD Robinson maybe taking a job. And I was like, so I started texting, trying to get in contact with him, but I had all the wrong numbers. And because they said he was kind of straddling the fence about whether or not he wanted to take the job. And so he ended up taking the job, and it has just been all uphill from there. He immediately came in my first year and made some changes that were needed to be made. And he's so student-centeredness. He's so about the students and their experience. And that's who I am. And it helps that we went to high school together. Not only did we go to high school together, we were friends in high school. He played basketball, I played basketball. We were very close knit. And then Mo Williams, this is somebody that I've been talking to our entire career. Even when he was playing and I was in college playing, we never lost contact with each other. And to have him at Jackson State is you guys can't understand the family that's here. I love the previous men's staff, but I truly love Mo Williams because I really want to see him successful. I keep my stuff to myself, but when he say, Coach, I want to sit down and pick your brain, and when he start picking, I give him everything he's asking for, because I want him to be successful, and I want him to know what we went through, how it looked, and success isn't what you think it is. It's not beautiful. It's hard. Sleepless nights, crying, blood, sweat, tears, no rest, sometimes no meals. This is a part of it. And so to be able to sit down and he really him taking that in and us having that relationship, it's awesome. It's only up from here. As the kids say, it's up, or if they say it's up or something, whatever they be saying.
Well, that's all I had. Joe, if you got anything else you want to add, this has just been an absolute treat, man. I've just enjoyed every second of this. I know those that will be tuned in is going to love it. We got so much more to come. Like I said, we definitely looking forward to getting some of your players, even some of your staff members. We want to get to know the entire staff, because a lot of times when you're the front, you're the face of the program, but there's so many different other contributors to the program. Your training staff, those that deal with the equipment, your assistant coaches. I had a chance to meet a few of them when we were at a restaurant, I think during the spring game, and they were on a recruiting visit, and they, just your staff is just amazing and very approachable, very focused on what they want. I had a player, someone that was interested in coming to join the Tigers. I was like, oh no, man, this ain't just no regular program. You can just walk up, knock on the door, and say I want to play. You got first of all, she got to have you got to fit. You know what I'm saying? And it's got to be what they're looking for. Then she got to have a scholarship. So, hey, I think you guys did a really good job.
I appreciate that. I tell people now, if they can't play it, if you won't send them to Power 5, don't send them over here.
I love that.
And if they're a sleeper that somebody's sleeping on, I'll let me look at them. But don't force anybody on me if they don't fit the system. So I appreciate you for saying that.
Absolutely. So for those that might have a player, you got to just, make sure they're a dog. You know what I mean? Just didn't know anybody.
Facts. Hey, it's a new day in this women's basketball team, man. It's a whole new day.
Oh my goodness. The best is yet to come. Again, this is Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. We're on set with I would say, can we say the GOAT? It's all right. We're going to say it anyway. We got the GOAT on the show, man. We got Coach Tomekia Reed, head women's basketball coach for the I Love Women's Basketball, Jackson State University. Coach, it's been a treat. Thank you for coming on Tiger Talk. I mean, all the best to you. And like I said, we're serious.
Sure.
Let us know what you need, and we'll be more than happy to help in any way we can.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are my two favorites. So thank y'all. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your positivity on social media. Thank you for retweeting, reposting the graphics. Thank you for always pushing women's basketball. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot, and we really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate
No
you.
doubt. That'll be it for today, folks. I Love. Go Tigers, baby.
Yeah, love. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
And that'll do it for episode 273 of Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. Thank you to all of our listeners. And again, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Apple Podcast and Spotify video users, rate and review the show. And everyone, go follow Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club on Facebook and Tiger Talk 1400 on Instagram and Twitter. I can't stress the importance of this enough. We're looking to do some big things with this platform to aid the athletics department, and it all starts with you. Downloading, subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show. And tell every Tiger that you know. We're on all podcast outlets. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Video, YouTube, and so on. And we'll be posting each episode on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. As always, thanks for your support. Go Tigers. #TheILove.